Could you please do a segment on dating with chronic pain and health issues? Everybody seems to be looking for an athlete on dating sites, and I feel like damaged goods in the dating market.
Did you push record?
Thank you so much for joining us today on Second Act TV. I'm so happy to welcome Joni Caldwell Lerner back to Second Act, the motivational and life strategy coach. You've given us so much great advice. I'm glad you're back today, Joni.
Oh, I have so much fun. I love being here, and hopefully somebody will say something that somebody needs to hear and that'll help them.
Well, our viewers love you. I mean, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of comments, and we love having you on this channel. And one of those comments, I immediately thought of you. That I thought this was a perfect topic. And let me read it. It's Silka. Could you please do a segment on dating with chronic pain and health issues for us singles over 50? She goes on, but finishes, everybody seems to be looking for an athlete on dating sites, and I feel like damaged goods in the dating market. What a great question, and something that, I honestly haven't thought about unless you're in that position. We're so self-involved, we don't think about that. Thought this is a topic for Joni. So let's get started on it. Doing some research and seeing what's written out there, I came across an article, and I know that you thought this was good advice too. So let's review that a little bit. First off, it's hard enough to date.
Right. So let me preface this by saying I have been injured. I've broken an arm. I've ACL, MCL tear in my knee. I've had injuries and weight gain as a result of those. So I have a temporary understanding of what people go through with chronic illness, but I don't have that personal experience. What I do have is my experience with coaching people in dating with illness. So I have somebody who has diabetes and she has the insulin pack. And then I have somebody who has cancer. And it's the first time she's 56. She's dating again. Somebody with a knee replacement who was an extreme athlete, and she doesn't have full range of motion. So she can't do anything she used to do. And so all of these people had in common feeling damaged. I love, this woman's question is brilliant. Thank you so much, whoever that is, because it's such an important topic. So I want to say I can empathize, and hopefully some of the suggestions that we have today will help people get back in there and have confidence and worthiness in what they're doing.
Well, one of the first points is to, be upfront about your illness. What exactly does that mean?
Okay. Well, first of all, being honest about who you are, how old you are, how much you weigh, whatever it is, that's true for anybody. I don't care if they have an illness or not an illness, but particularly when you have a chronic illness, you can be upfront and honest, say in the text stage or the email stage, if that feels more comfortable for you, and you will weed out people, but you don't want them anyway, right? You want somebody who's going to show up for you as a human being, as the soul that you are. And, who knows, they may have something going on too. I dated a guy that was 50, 60 pounds overweight. Really, I found him incredibly handsome. And I noticed that he would stop breathing. And it concerned me. So I didn't think he knew. And I said this to him, sleep apnea. And he said, yeah, I have a CPAP, but I was too embarrassed to put it on. I'm like, pull that sucker out, buddy. I want a healthy person as much as possible. And he had medications so the reason I tell you that story is because in other segments, I've shared how important it was to find somebody who was active like me. But this person was amazing, and it didn't work for different reasons.
Yeah. I think probably, I don't know if you put it in your profile, or do you just, fairly soon in that texting you want to maybe, whatever it is, if it's something certainly that's visible on a first date, allow the person or your potential partner to maybe react privately versus being put on the spot. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. And I would say I wouldn't put it in my profile.
Okay.
because it's not who you are.
Right.
The thing
That's true.
that one tiny piece of you is not who you are. Here's who I am.
Right.
Here's the overview. And if there's a connection and the conversation begins, then you can weave it into that. Or maybe you feel more comfortable when you're in person and saying, so then you go, okay, is there a connection here? Is this worth pursuing for me? Because it's really about, what do you want?
Right.
And then you say, listen, I have whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, and that goes to point two, is highlight your best assets, just like you
Oh,
would otherwise.
yes, yes, absolutely. Again, what are your values? What are your core values? What matters to you? What do you find interesting and exciting? And where do you want to be in 5 or 10 or 15 years? Also be very clear, and this is with yourself. Are you looking for companionship? Are you looking for sex or romance? Are you looking for a lasting relationship in a marriage? Are you just looking for, a TV buddy? I mean, be very clear with yourself
Yeah.
so that you can be clear with the other person. They'll so appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. And be relaxed about the illness. That made a lot of sense. Is how you
Oh,
present it is you're going to set the tone for how, right?
yeah. Yeah. So here it is. It's a fact. That's it. Just information. It doesn't make you a good or bad person. That's where people get in trouble, is when they assign a story to something. It makes me damaged. Just say cancel, cancel, cancel. You know, quiet down, head. And then you can have a sense of humor about it. You can be lighthearted about it, because they will take your lead. If you're like, I mean, I think I've mentioned before, I used to be Eeyore. So that would be me. I got this thing. But I've learned to be more, Tigger like, and just say, yeah, this is the deal. And, it doesn't get in the way, other than, a few minor adjustments I have to make. Like I have to bring my meds along, or sometimes I might dip out and go, check my blood sugar, or I can't eat carbs too much. Or listen, we're eventually going to get to this, but what's fascinating to me is if you have something like this going on and you've been afraid to dip your toe in, there are actually websites, dating websites, that will hook you up. Let's say you have diabetes. There's like a diabetes website, dating website. There's an ostomy and Crohn's disease website. People have colostomy bags. I mean, thank God they had a life-saving procedure. They have mobility dating sites, people in wheelchairs or that kind of thing. So you can either go on regular websites, absolutely, or if you feel more comfortable, just starting the dating process with somebody with a similar understanding of what you're going through.
Great point. It's a great point. Maybe start in a zone, in more of a comfort zone. I know I certainly haven't had any experience with these sites. We are going to link to those. I was fascinated as an article, a great article on that. And we can't necessarily recommend it because we haven't
No.
neither, but it sure made a lot of sense. This person, it was very well researched. So I would encourage you to check it out.
Before we move on, also, same thing applies. Same thing applies. Be careful of scammers. Do not give anyone money. If their profile sounds hanky, it might be hanky. If they don't have enough photographs, like really approach this with an open heart,
Yep.
but with a smart mind.
That's a really, really, really important point, not just as it is for all online dating. And one thing I saw, and that it actually thought of that on one of the sites, that we don't discriminate. If you're able-bodied, be careful. Be careful because
Well, yes. We've talked about that before in online dating. It is the most extraordinary vehicle for connection.
yeah,
And at the same time, if you're vulnerable and you don't believe in yourself, or we were maybe raised in a little more naive era, gullible era in terms of technology and these trolls and this. I mean, it's a whole business. It's not personal, but be smart.
right. Well, and you mentioned, and I thought this was a good point. Be willing to adapt. That if you've gotten ready for a date, and all of a sudden, man, you need to take a nap. You're not feeling good. Don't pretend that you're feeling everything is okay if it's not.
Yes. Now, see, if you've had that conversation with the person, male or female, I have this chronic issue, and so I may have to blah blah blah. Then you've already teed it up, right? But if you're out on a date, first of all, I would say prepare. If they want to go hiking and you have a knee replacement, but you know there's a certain level you can't do, check out the hike that they're talking about and say, well, you know what, maybe this hike would be better. If it's diabetes, for example, check out the restaurant menu. Are there things on there that I can eat? And then yes, if you have to take care of yourself, you just say, hey, listen, I just need to sit down for a little bit. Or yeah, that actually isn't going to be fun for me. You can actually say, I would totally do this, but that's not actually going to, don't pretend that going on that, roller coaster is fun. You may not have even liked it before. So be honest all throughout, but don't pretend.
Don't pretend, exactly. And then, great point, recognize when they aren't worth your time. And this kind of goes to the woman whose question, prompted this with back issues, and that she feels like damaged goods because everybody wants this. Well, if somebody has in their profile already, looking to be active and climb Mount Everest, well, they're not for
Believe
you.
them.
Yeah, believe them. Don't,
Believe them.
then it isn't.
In the work that you and I have done, and in the comments and that kind of thing, what I have noticed is that sometimes there's a point of view, a perspective that somebody has garnered from, experience in life or beliefs from parents or society or whatever. But be very careful to ever blanket anything as everybody wants.
Right.
The only thing women want is, the only thing men are looking for is,
right,
or man is looking for is, when you've done that, when you generalize like that, I challenge you to say, wait a minute, is that true?
Mm-hmm.
This will change your life. Forget the dating thing. When you have a blanket statement like that, is that true? You decide.
Yeah.
Not some belief you've been carrying around just because you had a bad marriage or a bad dating experience.
Right.
What's true for you now?
Exactly. Great point. And we're starting to come to the end, and actually the last point. And this is Joni might as well have written this article. Joni, I'll let you close. What is one of the most important points when dating, and especially dating with a chronic illness, disability, or otherwise?
Love yourself. Absolutely. Fall in love with you. Like, see the beauty, see the gifts that you have. Because when you fall in love with yourself, other people can't help but fall in love with you. And the right person will fall in love with you. And remember, it's, some people don't like strawberries. So they'll come to the table and you're a strawberry, but they want a papaya. It's not personal. So much of life in general is don't take anything personally and believe in yourself.
Right. And you're deserving of love. We all are deserving of love.
You know what? If you don't know that, if you're watching this right now, you absolutely deserve love. You deserve to love. You deserve to be loved. I don't care who you are, where you are, how old you are. Yeah. It is the absolute truth.
Yeah. And what keeps coming up in so many segments I've been doing with you, with everybody else, and be open to it. I know life is tough, life is challenging. We're all dealt cards. Some are not very good, some are better than others. But leave that possibility open, keep hope alive, and then it can be a possibility for you. So
Yes. And just one last thing. I know we're at the end. You bring up a good point. It's not about just denying the truth of the circumstance, but work with what you've got. And have as good an attitude as you possibly can. I get it. It has been a rough year, and sometimes for people a rough life. And that doesn't mean that the rest of it has to be that way. So look up and say, how do I want to spend my last 10, 20, 30 years?
Yeah. Great.
And go for it.
Great advice. Thank you, Joni. We'll see you next time on Second Act TV.
Yes. Oh, and if people want, go to spiritualaliveness.org if they want to talk to me. They can actually schedule something.
I can't believe I forgot to say that. Yeah, of course. We will absolutely link to your information. Well, it's all in the show notes. I think most people already know you. Yeah, be there, please. If you want to talk to Joni directly, please feel free to do so. It will be in the show notes. Joni, thank you. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right over here. Just click on through to YouTube. When you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too, and we'll notify you every time we launch a new video. See you next time.